What is a production assistant? I'm glad y'all asked. How you guys doing? My name is Daniel Holmes, and I've spent the past year being a production assistant for everybody I could think of, from photography to videography to agencies to short movies, you name it, I've been there. And I'm just here to share a little bit about what a production assistant is, why it's important, how you can become one, how you can get paid, how it can propel your career. And I think it's the perfect gig for anybody who's just starting out, who's in the first 2 years or so of their video production company or video production years or photography, it doesn't matter. And it's the best way to fast track you to get paid, to meet people, and to learn how to be a videographer, DP, gaffer, grip, photographer, wedding photographer, doesn't matter. If you're in this industry, everybody, I think, has been a PA at some point, unless they have a very unique story. If y'all feel that, let's go. Let's get on this journey. I'm gonna teach y'all what a PA is right now. So a production assistant or a PA is just somebody who is on set who can provide an extra set of hands or be a utility piece to whoever may need it. And they are accessible. They help bring in the equipment to your location. They might help set up the equipment on that location. Or, hey, can you firewatch the equipment? Can you just look after the stuff that we have so nobody steals it? That's your job. Now, you might be like, why would I want to do that? I'm telling you right now, PAs are so important to a production, bro. Sometimes it just makes it easier. It makes the flow of the project a lot easier if I know I have a crew to help me carry all this luggage around. If I have a crew that's going to help me light things so I can manage and work with the client specifically, or I might need to run over here and solve this problem over here. So who's going to be over here solving the problems when I'm over here solving these problems? As you get better at these things, you'll start having more freedom to make more of an impact on set, as far as maybe building the camera or maybe start taking some more of these other roles. Why should you be a production assistant? This is a great way to figure out what jobs are out there and what jobs you like and don't like. I'm sure if as a production assistant, you'll be able to fill all these different roles at times. Let's say a photography gig and I do a video gig. I might learn that I don't like photography as much. I might want to just do video work for myself. Or I like this commercial work over here, but I don't really like weddings. You get to kind of see what you like doing and what you don't like doing. It's also important because it teaches you all the roles that you need to know. So even if you don't like something, you still need to kind of know what it is and why it's important. Another reason why you should be a production assistant is if you're looking to collaborate and network. It's the easiest way in this industry to get on set and meet people. If you're a good person, if you're cool, if you're chill, and if you do your job and if you're on time, bro, you'll be able to meet thousands of people. Not thousands, that's cap. You'll be able to meet a lot of people at a vast rate, and you'll be able to use these people that you meet on your projects. They'll be able to hire you for your work in the future. And there's just a quick way to network. How can we get some of these PA jobs? There's no right way or wrong way to become a production assistant or get on some of these jobs. But the easiest way, in my opinion, is to follow photographers and DPs that you want to work for. Specifically, if they're locally in your area, that's the best way to do it. And you contact them via Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever the case may be. Typically, if you have a portfolio, have your portfolio ready. A portfolio is just a collection of your body of work. And you say in a nice message, how are you doing, John Doe? My name is so-and-so, and I'm an inspiring photographer or videographer or whatever the case may be. I have on-set experience shooting these projects shown in my portfolio, and I would love to be a part of any projects that you may have as a production assistant in the future. If that's something that you think is doable, or if that's something that you're interested in, I would love to talk with you. I love the work that you guys have. I feel like I have a style that might fit well with you guys, and I would love to add value. Thank you. Have a great day. Period. Boom. That's your message for Instagram to send some of these production agencies or people that you specifically want to work for. Another way to do it is joining Facebook groups. Sometimes you need to know somebody in a Facebook group to get in one. However, when you get in one, people post in search of ads all the time. It's called ISO, in search of. And they'll be looking for a production assistant in Maryland, production assistant in Delaware, production assistant in California. And that'll be your way to kind of get or reach out and say, hey, I would love to be a production assistant for your project. I would love to add value to whatever you have going on. And just contact them through their website. That's another way to do it, and they'll either respond or they won't respond. Or if you hit them through email, they either respond or they won't respond. And this is going to kind of transfer or translate to my next topic, which is how do you get paid? Do realize that a production assistant is almost the most affordable position on set. So, especially if you're starting out, don't expect to get paid. It's okay that you take pro bono work. I had to do some projects pro bono, meaning for free, or for passion, or for the love of, and that is perfectly fine. If it's going to lead you to the next step in meeting a new client or potentially meeting somebody new to partner with, it might be worth it in the long run. Remember, we are here to get the value and the experience. Sometimes it's not always about the money. The money will come because the passion is here. That being said, a PA, the average rate depends on where you are and what you're doing. So a rate could go between $150 and $350, I would say, for a PA. My first gig ever, I got paid $350 per day, and I worked 3 days. So that was like $1,000. That was like big time for me. But I got lucky though. So every rate's not the same. All rates aren't the same. It depends on the project, how long you're working, how many hours of the day. But you can expect a range between $150 or $100 and $150 to $350 per day. It depends. The happy medium, I would say, is $250. So if you're looking to start out and you don't know how much a PA job is worth, and you can negotiate when you're in a position to ask for money, you can say, okay, I'll be a production assistant for $250. But remember, it's not about the money. It is about the experience, the passion, and the things that you're doing and learning on set. The most important thing is to find people that are local to you, and that's how you can build a reputation locally. Because one thing about this industry, that word spreads fast. If I have a good PA, or if I'm a good PA, I promise you my 10 friends will know, hey, there's a good PA, and do you have any PAs for me? And that's how you get work. You'll get booked often because you're a good PA. Now, this is the part that you guys are probably most excited for, or probably want to hear the most. It's just the do's and don'ts and what I've learned on certain sets. Step number 1, be available. What does that mean, Daniel? Well, being available just means if you want a job, sometimes it might not be a 2-week notice before you get it. You have to just be aware and be available and saying, okay, I can make it tomorrow. If you're not available as a production assistant, you will not get booked as a production assistant. If you're not available, you just won't get booked. A lot of DPs or photographers might get approved for a last minute budget, so they couldn't, but they might be able to get a production assistant now. Hey, I got a last minute budget, client approved for another $250 for my project. Would you like to be a PA? I need one by tomorrow, and you have to be able to drive. Well, if you want to be the PA, you're gonna have to be available to go do that project, and immediately without waiting, because there's 5 other people trying to get that job too. You're gonna have to contact that person right then and there and say, yo, I would love to be on this project with you. That's how you get the PA job. Be on time. Oh my God, listen. Not to scare you, but imagine this. Imagine you're a DP, you're getting paid $5,000, right, for a project. And imagine the people that are supposed to be helping you on this project don't show up until 10 minutes after you said, I need y'all to be here. How can I trust you? If you're not on time, that's a bad first impression. And it's gonna be hard to kind of make that up. So being on time is the easiest first impression you can make. And actually, if you're gonna be there about 10 to 20 minutes earlier than the actual call time. A call time is just the time that you're called to be on set. Be on the lookout for emails and details. Respond back when you get that info. I've been on several projects, like I said, and a lot of times the DPs or the photographers, they'll communicate via email. A lot of times on these gigs, I'm like the only person that responds back via email, but it'll be a crew of 10 people, but maybe only 2 people might respond to the emails. You can even use one of those pre-prompts that Google gives you. You know what I'm saying? Like, just respond so they can see it. And then 2, responding to an email will keep your name subliminally like in the forefront of my mind. So if I have a group of 10 people and you're the only person that responds to me, of course, I'm going to have a little bit more trust for you out of that crew of 10. I know y'all hate when people don't respond to you in a group chat. It's the same feeling as a DP when we send out something via email and you don't get back to us. So be persistent or be available in your emails as well. This one is not really a do, but if you're unsure, this is something you should do, and this is something to expect. It's an expectation. Most sets wear black. I don't care if it's pictures, video, and it's because black typically absorbs the light. So you might be wearing a black t-shirt. If it's a formal event, you might be wearing a polo or some slacks, whatever the case may be. But typically, if you're on a set, you're going to be probably wearing black 9 times out of 10. If they don't say anything, just wear black. And if you're unsure, just send that email or that text. Say, hey, is there a dress code for this project? And they'll let you know. This is the most. And I might be too loud for y'all. This is the most important rule or do on this list. Be a good person. What does that mean? Have a great attitude, please. If you don't have a good attitude, if you're not fun to work with, if people don't really like you because you're not giving off good energy, if you don't bring good energy to the set, you will not get booked again. People want to work with people they like or people that they have fun with. Nobody wants to work with that one person who is extremely mean to the client who's paying us, or who's mean to the custodian, or has an attitude because something went wrong. You just have to have a good attitude about this, and it's going to be okay. All the DPs, photographers, and everybody I've met that I've worked for have all said, Daniel, your attitude on set is amazing, and that's probably the reason why we're going to book you again. It has nothing to do with how talented you are, because they can teach you how to hold a camera. It has all to do with, are you a pleasure and a joy to work with? There's a lot of times as a PA, you're not going to know how to set up a certain light. You might have never worked with this equipment before. You might have never been to this location before. That's okay. They don't expect you to know. However, they don't want you to toy around with some equipment that costs $10,000 and you break it because you didn't really know. So if you don't know, ask. Even if you don't know anything, the next time that task is asked of you on the next project, you'll be able to know how to do it. So if you didn't know how to work with an aperture light and you say, hey, how do you set this up? After he might show me once or twice, I got it from then and there. He doesn't have to show me anymore. So then when I take that experience to other sets and they're working with the same equipment, I'm already ahead of the game because I don't have to ask them over and over and over again. So once you ask me once, I got you. So like, if you don't know that first time, just ask. Take initiative sometimes. What does that mean? Hypothetically, you're living at the house. You're growing up with your mom. The trash is filling up. Are you going to wait till your mom to tell you to take the trash out, or are you just going to take the trash out? Or if you see somebody building lights, you can say, hey, is it okay if I build this light over here? And that's asking, okay? But that's also taking the initiative to help the crew move at a speed that is faster than what you guys are going at. Be cautious though, because sometimes taking initiative, they might not need that specific thing to be done. So it's important, if you're unsure if you should take initiative at this moment, right? Ask. If you see that they're struggling on something and they need to get back to something else, I can handle this. I can pack the reflector up. Do you need to go talk to the client? Go ahead and I got you. That's taking initiative. It'll take you a long way. Have great awareness. You need to be very aware on set. Whatever the thing may be, you just need to be aware. You need to be aware of the cords on the floor, like small things. There was one time I was on a shoot and I noticed that we had a boom arm and our client was tying their shoe and they started to rise up and their head was about to hit the boom pole. So I gently stuck my hand and protected his head from getting hit by the pole. It could be big or small, but just being aware of what's going on around you will take you a long way as a production assistant, and it will save whoever's leading that project a lot of time, insurance, money, and scare and heartache on that day. If you have an idea, if not, it's okay, but if you have an idea of what equipment they're gonna be using, look up some tutorials on how to use some of that equipment. Because 9 times out of 10, you may be asked to fiddle or help set up or hold some of that equipment. So It will save a lot of that asking time on set if you have some of that knowledge. Ask the DP or whoever is there if you can take behind the scenes footage via iPhone on their behalf. They may say no, that's not a problem. But this is what it's going to do for you, okay? It shows initiative. It will make you look like you're having a bigger role in the project because now you're doing BTS. BTS is just behind the scenes. And it would just make their life a lot easier. A lot of times people would love behind the scenes of their work. They're going to post it on their social media if it's good enough. So when you take behind the scenes, another thing is don't just send them the individual clips. Send them a finished product of the behind the scenes. It will allow you to work on your behind the scenes editing. It will allow you to get that on-set experience, you being behind the scenes, which is an actual role on some sets. And they will appreciate you. And a lot of times that I've done that, every time they've posted the video and they tag you. So you not only get sent from the bottom being a PA on the list, you will get, hey, I just shot this project for Nike. Thank you to the crew behind the scenes shot by Daniel Holmes. So and they'll tag you in their footage and it works every time. So ask them if you can shoot behind the scenes. Don't just go ahead and do it because they may not want it or the client may not want it. Meet people, share info, and follow up. When you show up, you might only know or might have only talked to the director of photography or the photographer. Okay, let's say there's a crew of 5. When you get there, make sure you know everybody that you had on that crew. Know their names, get their social media. After you get their social media, make sure you connect with them and you talk to them. Talk to everybody that you might work with on that crew. Don't just show up and just only talk to 1 or 2 people. Make it your effort to talk to everybody and know what their role is on that project, why they're doing it, how long they've been in the industry, do they have any tips for you, whatever the case may be, what got them started, what was their favorite project, what was their most meaningful project. And as you start having these conversations with these people, that forms a rapport. And make sure after the project is complete, maybe it'll be a week or a day or whatever it is, reach out to that person again. There's times I've missed out on job opportunities. I have friends who have followed up after the gig and they've gotten other production jobs just off the simple fact that they asked. Big in our industry is out of sight, out of mind. If you're out of sight, you are out of mind. So a good way to stay in people's minds is just to be active with them and keep connecting and reconnecting and making that a conscious effort. Listen, have urgency, but do not run. I can't stress it enough. You will not need to sprint on any set that you go on. You can walk fast, you can move quickly. If you run and drop something, that is worse than you just moving with urgency. Do not be on your phone. There will be times when you can be on your phone, but it's more important, especially when you're starting out, to focus more on what's going on around you. Meet people, talk to people, connect with people. If you're on your phone the whole time, people are not going to talk to you, you're not going to be engaged in the project. You might not be aware, your awareness will be low, and you'll miss something. Just get off your phone for that 8 hours, like I said, work day. And you'll have fun on set if you do that as well. Do not call action or cut if you're working with a director of photography. So or a director, period. Like, if the light's not on and they're about to start rolling and they start rolling, don't call cut by any means necessary. Don't say anything. Just let the take go and say, hey, did you want to get another shot because the light wasn't on or this wasn't on, or tell somebody, but you don't call cut. That's not your job. Play your role. Remember that. Don't gossip about other jobs. This is what I mean. You can talk to other people about other jobs that you've had or that they might have had, but don't gossip about other workers. I've seen other people talk behind other people's back, and I've worked on projects with both parties. It's not a good look. It's better if you just don't gossip and don't speak negatively about somebody when they're not present, or period. Just keep it to yourself. Be very cautious about the input that you do give because you want it to come from a place of knowledge. So as you start getting on sets, the more sets you get on, the more knowledge you'll be able to start assisting. Say, hey, what about this? What about that? What about this? Unless they ask for your opinion, or unless they say, hey, it's okay if you give me an opinion. If you don't know that person like that, be very cautious about the opinions about the shots that you guys are taking, or that's their client and that's their project at the end of the day. You're just an assistant. So be very cautious. You can do it sometimes depending on the scenario and depending if they ask you. But if they haven't asked you yet and you don't know them like that, be very aware of how you go about giving advice or opinions on the work that's being done. Do's and don'ts. The biggest do's were have a good attitude. That's the biggest one. You'll learn everything else when you get there. Have a good attitude. That's the biggest thing I can say. The biggest don't, I would say, is if it doesn't feel right, don't do it. Gut feeling. Go off your gut feeling. That's a good don't. If you guys want to get the PA job, be aware and be on the lookout on Facebook groups. If you can get one, request somebody. If not, request me. I'll put all my social medias out there. You guys can friend me and I can add you to some of these groups. And follow your favorite photographers, director of photography, whatever, and contact them. By doing this, guys, your career will grow so fast and it will help you out. If you guys have any more questions, put them in the comments below. Thank you guys for joining me on my first video. Thank you guys for joining me on this journey. I'm here. I'm going to be dropping some videos every now and then. Be on me, bro. Keep giving me inspiration. Y'all be safe out there, and you only got one life, so let's do this. Let's do this thing the best we can, okay? I don't got no more words, so I guess this is gonna be my outro every time. We're just gonna do like a 2 piece sound, whatever. That's what it is. So we out.